Hello, my name is Mage and welcome to Black and White Thinking. Here are some thoughts and feelings on Harley Quinn, the animated series, Season 3, Episode 9. If you enjoy this little video, please consider subscribing to the channel, it really helps. Love you all, thanks. Hi guys, welcome to another string of unhinged thoughts. Let's get into it. We made it to episode 9, the penultimate episode, and what an episode it was. So this episode was kind of a horror story, right? In a few ways. I'm not sure I can say I liked the episode, I definitely liked parts of it. This whole season has felt very mangled so far, and I feel like I need the final piece of the puzzle, being the last episode, to truly kind of fit it all together. So I'm going to try and avoid talking about the overall because we've almost made it to the end. I'm going to try and point out just a few things I did like about the episode, a few things I kind of really didn't, and yeah, just some feelings. Starting with taking the Harley Quinn animated series-ness out of the situation. This story with Bruce is really interesting on its own. There's a true horror to what he's become, and I wish Batman stories in general went a little harder sometimes, like this has. The writers last week, I'll try and link the article below, were talking about how DC weren't very happy about this season using Bruce as an antagonist, which, told you so, no offense. I definitely think that has impacted not necessarily what has happened in the story, but how it's being framed. I feel like when this season was first written, at its full 13 episodes, Bruce was probably more of a bad guy. And he hasn't really been a bad guy this season, right? He's been an antagonist. Ivy has been painted as the bad guy, as if what Bruce does is out of trauma and sadness. But what Ivy does is simply wrong in anyone's eyes, but Harley's, and now Harley's too, apparently. We'll talk about that in a minute. Back to Bruce. The true horror and the terror, the pain for Bruce to do all this, jokes aside, is just sad. And I do feel for him. This was not nice to watch, right? It made me feel super uncomfortable, and I'm glad the show is a comedy sometimes, because if this was being played straight, it would be some body horror, The Fly shit that would just, it would be great, but it would be a lot. I wish Nightwing had slightly more to do this season. He's kind of just been there to quip, which is fine, but Harvey Guillen deserves more, and I don't know, there's a lot you can do with Dick, right? He's an interesting character, and I feel like given that they spent so much time on characters like the Joker, why introduce Nightwing if you're not really even going to use him much? I'm curious if he'll play a pivotal role in the last episode, because otherwise he kind of hasn't done a lot. Just going to run down a quick list of things I did like, because there were quite a few moments in this episode that were adorable outside of the greater context, right? I really liked Tickle Shark, Shark being tickled when he was coming through the door by the zombies. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. It made me and my girlfriend laugh. I liked the Macarena scene, although I think a better reference would have been doing the single ladies dance. I liked the blatant Star Wars reference.
Oh God, I love you. I know. Now go!
I really liked Ivy's throwback look, and that can stay if it wants. I would like to see her costume change a bit more, actually, that'd be really interesting. I am always torn about how I believe Ivy should be costumed. Because of Ivy's history, nowadays she should probably be fairly unsexualized, right? But in a utopian world, Ivy wouldn't need a costume. In a world where women's bodies are not judged for their sexuality, Ivy's costume would just be her in the nude, let's be real. But we don't live in that world, so I'm quite enjoying the boiler suit in the recent comics. I kind of want to recreate it. Irrelevant, but there you go. I really liked Shark helping Bruce, offering to put down his parents, because we've seen all his trauma this season and in the background of last season's, and it kind of played off as a joke, right, because it's a comedy, but the weight of this situation was really subtle and it played out well, and it made me super emotional, really, after seeing everything that Shark went through this season, and then being like, you don't need to, I can take that trauma from you, Bruce, even though he owes Bruce nothing, he's just doing it to be kind, was, again, a really strong moment in the writing for me, one of the stronger ones once. I also absolutely adored the photo that Harley kept of Ivy. It was a great choice, and it felt very reminiscent of Max Sarin's drawings in EBK, so that was nice as well. Harley in the Batwing generally was great, especially in comparison to her stealing the Batmobile in the first season. A nice little parallel there. Oh, how times have changed. And on that note, let me talk about the big moments, because I definitely have some feelings. Feelings I guess I wish I didn't have. I wish I could just be super chill and happy about everything that happened in this episode, but that's not what you come here for. I'm going to be honest. As I said last episode, I do not think it's okay that Harley does not seem to want to tell Ivy that Bruce is Batman, because it also means, oh God, it also means that Selina's keeping that secret, and just like everyone that Ivy cares about is keeping that secret from her. And like Ivy has so many issues already around trust, around openness, and I just think Harley is risking a lot by keeping this secret. I hope that's addressed in the last episode. We'll see. Ivy's speech was amazing, and it was nice to see again another parallel in relation to either the beginning of this season, where she was still struggling to express how she feels about Harley, your hair looks nice today or whatever, and also in comparison to her vows with Kite Man, which were non-existent, whereas this flowed freely from her, and it felt perhaps even more honest and raw than what she said in episode 3 of this season, which I also really enjoyed. I wish it had been handled in the narrative, or at least acknowledged for its weight, because the moment is quickly ruined by Harley's decision to throw herself in front of a horde of zombies, and this is where everything starts to feel complicated and conflicting in regards to my views on this episode. Something about this decision that Harley makes to kill herself to prove a point to Ivy feels really dichotomous. On the one hand, I really appreciate the parallels. There were so many parallels in this episode. It was a throwback episode. Parallels between Joker having to choose between Batman and Harley, and choosing Batman, whereas Ivy was offered the world and Harley, and she chose Harley, which I adore and I love, and is absolutely in character. Like, that is something Ivy would do. I just wish she hadn't been put in this situation, let's say. It also was a nice parallel to Ivy getting shot at the end of the first season for Harley. Zombie trees dying in each other's arms kind of vibes. Harley doing it though, that felt manipulative. And this is coming from me, right? Harley is my BPD angel. I don't expect her to act appropriately at all times. I think Harley doing something like this, whilst kind of ugly, is actually in character. However, I do not think the reasoning behind it is justified in any way, shape or form, and I do not think this moment was earned in the narrative, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not talking about Harley generally here. I am talking about the Harley Quinn that exists in this show. I do not believe or understand this specific Harley's newfound need to protect random innocent people. Another Harley perhaps. Margot Robbie's Harley perhaps. You could maybe even make it work in the comics. This show starts with Joker wearing a man's face. This Harley is extreme, right? She's more violent than a lot of other Harleys, and she has been a lot more selfish, dangerously selfish, in a destroy the fucking world kind of way than a lot of other Harleys. And I love that about her. That's absolutely fine. That's my problem, right? This doesn't feel earned. Please talk to me about this in the comments, because I really want to know what you guys think, because I'm struggling with this. Have I been blind to all the progress that Harley has made this season? Or does it feel like she hung out with Batgirl once and now she has a new personality? Again, I throw back to the VPD thing, but the show isn't writing that, is it? I could justify this through how I feel personally about Harley and her mental health issues, but the show isn't doing that, right? The show is just changing her character. And I mean, this specific Harley has a body count that could rival. It feels manipulative, and that's not me saying that I don't love a little bit of sexy manipulation in my couples. I've just not ever thought Harley and Ivy were those people, I guess. Not to each other, that's the exception, right? Some of my favourite couples are kind of rival lovers, or have started on really kind of strange terms. Nadja and Laszlo in Widow in the Shadows, Yennefer and Geralt.
I was hypnotized,
I used hypnosis on him.
which I found out later.
That's not who Harley and Ivy are, right? They're not rival lovers. They've never really been rivals. Rivals would implore that there is some competition between them. At best, they found each other annoying. Ivy often thinks that Harley is kind of sad when she first meets her, and Harley thinks Ivy is stuck up. But rivalry true moral difference in what they believe, I don't know. I'm not saying that Harley needs to be a serial killer in order for me to enjoy her character. I'm quite happy with her being an anti-hero, but to literally just make her Robin or Batgirl without that being something that she is doing as a choice with Ivy, for them both to move forward, feels like they are just walking separate paths. If Harley is going to be a hero, then Ivy kind of needs to go with her, right? And again, I'm really trying to avoid spoilers that we know. If you know, you know. And I'm just very, very curious about how this last episode is going to wrap things up in a way that feels authentic. That feels like, well, that feels earned, like I said. Also, was the pasta maker joke did it really just lead up to this? Okay, cool, sure. One quick shipper moment. Ivy holding Harley as she dies, screaming in pain. Never want to see that again. Everything hurts and I'm dying. This episode was a lot. I don't feel that kind of hollow feeling I felt after the Bruce episode, but neither do I feel entirely hopeful. I don't know why, maybe it's just me, but a lot of this season has just left me feeling really sad for Ivy, almost as if Harley spent all this time chasing her just to leave her behind anyway. I hope that's not the case, and I hope I'm just being a miserable, boring fart. Please let me know what you think about this episode. Again, I'm conflicted. Let me know. Let me know all of your thoughts. I look forward to reading them literally every week. We were talking about this in the group chat. It's so nice to see a collection of reasonable, thought out opinions, whether or not they are different to mine. I love all of them. I feel like you all offer insights and clarity and just kindness. I think it's great. I love talking to you guys about these episodes. It's the best part of the week, seeing what you guys say, and it makes me want to make these videos just so you can comment on them. So thanks for that motivation as well. Alright, I'm out. One more of these to go, and then I'll probably maybe do a big one, or maybe even a live stream, just kind of talking over the season. That would be nice. We could maybe interact a bit better. Let me know if you liked this and you made it this far and you haven't subbed to the channel. 1, impressive. 2, please consider subscribing. My name is Mage. This has been Black and White Thinking. Thanks as always.